That's a good boy. Good job. Next time, won't you sing with me? Okay, guys. Anyways, I happened to take a look. Like, I literally, this is my first time driving by this area right here. I happen to sit here. I've been sitting here for, pardon my son. He's just singing. Thank you, Papa. He's so cute. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys something. See that? Mira. Mira. I made another video the other day, but then I had looked it up and found out it means something else. I just happened to stop here and look. I mean, I happened to stop here just to like unwind. I just got back from the office, from DHS office after hours. It's speaking in the back room with Alex about what was going on. He was like, how did it happen where I wind up, oh hi guys. But yeah, I was like, he was saying, how did it wind up? It's because they were trying to go this way to look on my phone. But anyways, I was like, he was like, how did it wind up what happened where I was last in the apartment complex where I was at, where he last saw me, to me now homeless, sleeping in my car briefly, temporarily, because we should be moving in our place tomorrow or sometime next week if it's not this week. But the thing is, he wouldn't be investigated. I told him the reason why I'm even sitting in front of his face right now is because of some lunatic, I didn't say lunatic, like some moron, idiot, freaking therapist took what he said that he was thinking I took his time for granted. So what he did was go and make a false CPS investigation. How pathetic can that be? And then here with this dude, Alex Schmidt of DHS, making excuses for everyone. Even as soon as I got back to the car after this 1 hour and 40-minute meeting he and I had, and I told him today too, I said, you and I were originally supposed to just meet at 10:30 in the morning, but then he called me at 3 something, like 3:25 or something like that. Wow. In the evening. Yeah, wow. And then he was like, well, I was just getting ready to come over, but then I saw that I saw your email. I said the dog because the dog was barking. But anyways, really quick, the reason why I'm showing this is because everywhere I happen to just pull up to, it's like it's always put in a location like someone knew that I was going to be there. I'm not trying to say it like a psychotic person, because after having that meeting, when I got out of that meeting with Alex Schmidt, how delusional he chose to be to the things that I was saying. Baby, if I let y'all hear that recording, it's about an hour, so I would have to like skip to some parts, maybe around the 20-minute mark or the 30-minute mark, so it's not too long. Because the beginning was just usual stuff and me saying the people's names. He even said it himself, though. Nobody can't really do anything about it. About what he said. He finally mentioned that he saw some of the emails and he mentioned some of it didn't make sense. I was like, oh, so it didn't make sense? And then he tried to say something about he didn't have enough information. But I put on that email, if you want additional details, please reach out to me, or please hear back. So I already know that they don't care. That's why I told him it was intentional. He said it himself. He said he basically is trying to make it seem like I'm perceiving that I'm being isolated. I didn't even think that, but it's exactly what they're doing. They want me to feel isolated, like nobody's listening. Because if they really cared, like he said, my lawyer was coming back to help me again as a courtesy. It's not as no fucking courtesy. I apologize for my obscene language, but it wasn't no freaking courtesy, because she didn't have the courtesy to let me know, well, Genevia, I'm not going to work with you anymore. And they just started ignoring me, and they started it before that situation happened. Jen Evans of the Multnomah, the Metropolitan Public Defender's Parent and Child Advocacy Department was supposed to come over. She did the same stuff she was doing on the last case. She found a reason to not come there all of a sudden, but this time she didn't say anything. She just didn't show up. I missed work that day. That was something that counted against me. I wanted to get this stuff done and over with, so I didn't go to work, and she never said a word. And then I finally hear back from them. They talk about they had somebody call me. No one ever called me. No one did not call me. That's why I went ahead and changed my number. I had my same number for all that time. And then they trying to play this game like, oh, well, we had your wrong number. It's because y'all called me months later after I changed the number. I said, well, they not trying to talk to me no ways. Everyone was ignoring me. He said, well, people get busy and they don't have to respond back to you. He effed up himself saying that, idiot. And I'm not saying these people are bad people. They just made some poor decisions. And but they want to pin stuff on me. That's why I said in the recording, in that meeting, that if it had been me doing what you guys are doing, it will be a totally different effect, or it'll be a different effect or a different tune. But when I got out of there, I was saying something about it would have been a whole different tune to the music, to the song. I mean, if it was switched around, I tried to get him to see from my perspective. He wanted me to see from their perspective that I already saw. He wanted me to see from their perspective so bad he couldn't even tell and realize by some of the stuff I was saying that I already saw from their perspective. He's still trying to force it upon me. That's why my son was smart. He brought me some CD that was in there that said Box Trolls on it. It was a movie called Box Trolls. He kept bringing it to my face. It's like he kept showing that's what these mugs is. That's what they are. Box trolls. And so, anyways, I thought a mosquito had gotten in here. But yeah, this is just crazy because when I first left out of there, I felt so sort of mentally exhausted to the point like I felt like there was no hope of me talking to anybody because he was trying to remain so delusional, like he was trying to like choose to not hear what I was saying that made sense. He wanted it to not make sense so bad that even when it made sense, he blinked out for a moment. I wish I was recording so y'all could see how he was just standing there for a moment. He was like deep in thought for a second towards the end. And then he started saying, yeah, just people it's like, I don't know what happened. The look on his face almost looked as if he was under mind control. That's all I can say. And now that I think about it, I'm almost thinking that may have been the case and he didn't even know that he was under mind control. But I'm not saying that that's what it was. I'm just saying like the look on his face, it was like Dane Calloway made this video that said something about spooks or the spooks, and it showed this person, or it showed someone looking like I can't describe it. Like they looked like they were not in their head, they were out of their minds, like they had this stare, like they almost as if they had died and another entity had taken over their body and it couldn't communicate and it was in a state of shock. That's the way his face was looking for a moment. And then he sort of zoned back in and started speaking as if he was listening, but he didn't respond to what I said. That's how I was like, what was he thinking about? It's like something happened that made him turn off his cognition. That's the look on his face. I wish I could have recorded it. It was kind of scary. I was like, is he okay? I was observing him. I was like, this can't be happening right now. Like the look on his face, I don't even think I could do that facial expression. It's almost like, say like somebody's mouth is open without the drool coming out and their eyes is just wide open. And it's almost like they're not there. Like they're in another state of mind. Like they're somewhere, they're on another dimension mentally and they're not there in their mind. Their eyes is like how a robot would look if it was powered off, and it just looked soulless and lifeless. I can't really describe it, but he looked like he was almost in a state of shock and he wasn't hearing me for a moment. And then he stood there and I was quiet and I was just looking at him. And I can remember, if I go back and listen to that recording, I can remember the part that he was, where like when he starts saying something, I can tell when he started to come back to. It's like something happened where his cognition and his hearing just blinked out. It's like he blinked out. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like he blinked out. I was like, what happened? I almost was thinking somebody did. Now that I think back on it, it looked like somebody literally did do mind control. But anyways, it was just shocking to see that happen right before my eyes, because it reminded me of a dream of when I was in Walmart and I saw the basement of Walmart. They had some people that were in lab coats that were in. You okay? Okay, yeah, he's fine. They had people that were in lab coats and they were basically doing experiments on people, and it was like the ladies came out with their tongues hanging out of their mouth and their eyes was like the experiment, like maybe they did electroshock therapy or something on them, and they weren't there, and one of the dudes was slapping the lady to make her wake up, basically. So but her eyes were open, and they came out, her tongue was hanging out of her mouth, and it was kind of long too, but you can't see it. But there's like your group of gnats right there. I'm about to get out of this area. I don't want those mosquitoes and gnats coming in here. But yeah, so that's it, guys. This was a beautiful area. Like, I think water, I just wanted to get by some water, some beauty. I think the Willamette River's over there. I like stuff like that. Like, if I could just live out somewhere like that, I would have a much more peaceful life, and I feel like I'll be a lot happier. That's the only thing that's missing, a beautiful view like this to go to. So since I can't see it from my house, I'll come to it. But it's more to it when I drive down there. Just that I'm trying to save gas until I get my next check next week. Oh man, I keep doing it. Okay, so yeah, let me get out of here. It's so pretty down there, but we're about to get out of here though. But guys, I just wanted to share that because the dude was totally saying things. It's like he wasn't trying to hear what I was saying. But I was trying to show that Mira right there. Mira right there. They have it in inconspicuous locations. Like, it's meant for somebody to see it, that they know it's going to turn and look and see it. Unless it was because it was there, I spiritually turned and looked. But then I found out it meant something like peace or something like that. But I'm not sure if that's what the person who wrote it wanted it to mean. But I'm going to take it that way because it's by a peaceful location. It used to piss me off because it seemed like they had it everywhere I ended up being at. And I hate that stuff because then when I say stuff like that, people be like, oh, you want to make this like it's all about you. No, it's not. These people came into my life focusing on me, and even speaking of that, even the dude, Alex Schmidt said, wasn't that dude like an intern or something? He was a college grad or something. Yeah, he probably just graduated, but he did that it's going to come back to bite him. Even if I don't sue him, it's going to come back to bite him, and it's going to catch up to him, and he's going to know why what's happening to him is happening. I'm sick of everybody, and he tried to basically so this is what they do, y'all. 12:22 when I looked at the clock. They basically isolate people, and he even said it. Alex Schmidt said another woman in that apartment complex, another mom, she was schizophrenic, but he said that she had psychosis in that building too, but she was schizophrenic. I don't know if she was already schizophrenic, but when I got out of that building, a lot of the stuff that I was experiencing spiritually, I stopped experiencing it. So I don't know if there's somebody that's there, either the person who watches on the cameras. Even I told Alex Schmidt about, he was like, well, how does that pertain to you? Like, what does that have to do with you about you, the news sharing, the news that they had showing about how somebody was watching the camera? It's because he was like, what does that have to do with me? And I told him basically that was just another obvious evidence right there that there is someone who watches the cameras, because that newscast that that news forecast, whatever it's called, the news broadcast, it happened. Somebody had to have been watching the cameras, because for it to happen, nobody was there. No one was there who saw it and reported it. They saw it on the cameras. That's how I know it became evident that they be watching the cameras. And then I told them about a situation where when I said I was going to go do the laundry, all of a sudden, out of all those 2 years plus 2 months that I was there, not once has that laundry room light been off. But they turned it off that night, and there's no switches in the laundry room to turn the lights off or on. It has to be done by someone in maintenance. And that night, 10 minutes after my laundry, 10 to 15 minutes after my laundry was done, nobody was doing laundry at all. No laundry machines were being used. In fact, all of them were open. This is something that never happened. It's something that never happens. They always have them. Some washers either have some stuff left in it. Most of the doors are closed. Only a few are open. The night that the laundry doors were open and the lights were off was the night that somebody took my clothes out and sat them directly on top of the washer and just left them there. And I feel like they did that just to show like they watching me or something like that. They'll take them out for me. They didn't put them in the dryer. Nobody was using it. Then when I came back, it was some woman using every single last washer and dryer in there in the darkness. That never happens. So what were those women doing in there if you're supposed to be a locked unit and have the back door locked? That whole entire apartment complex at the Louisa Flowers, it got this maintenance man people in on it, and the slumlord people that work there be in on it. And that's why my housing coordinator is not being the way she was when she was dealing with those people, because she know my new landlord is not going for that stuff. He's a more what you call it? He's not crooked, is what I told him. He's not a crooked landlord like that lady was. So, I mean, it's just, and it's hard because people like them, it's like they refuse. They don't want to see the truth. And he proved it. I said, you pretty much proved me right, because if my son's safety is the concern here, why was it okay for Chidozie Uram, my intern therapist at the freaking Kelly DeBruin Counseling, why was it okay for him to just make a false CPS claim in it, but ignore me when I told him about the crisis I was going through and about the people harassing me? He and another police officer told me that I was paranoid. So-called Officer Sokolov. And that don't even sound like a real freaking officer's name. It sounds like he just used that name off of the attorney. It might, unless he's related to those attorneys, because I remember, I think I saw a commercial a long time ago about an attorney called Sokolov or something like that. But he barely wanted to even give me when I made a report about the stuff that was happening following what Mrs. Applegate told me. This is why I feel like maybe God let this be my purpose, because I don't give up. And I see very clearly how these people are choosing to try not to see the truth when they know what's going on, because they part of the stuff. They see it happen all the time. They just think it is what it is. Because I seen stuff like that happen at jobs I work at. I left those jobs. I don't work at certain jobs because I know that certain things that people do, they just think that it is what it is, and that's how things have always been. This is what they do. Like, for instance, when I was working at Chehalem Health and Rehab, the dude chose not to let the mom live because I feel like it's because of the relationship he had. But he was a nice guy to me, though. But his mom, the child of the mother that was in the retirement home, didn't like him and treated him like he was basically an imbecile. He's kind of one of those Family Guy type dudes. He was chubby. He wore his belly sticking out of his scrub pants. He was the charge nurse at night, Raymond Blue. He was a nice guy. He even used to let me use his truck to go get us something to eat and to drive it. And he was like, you know how to drive, right? He was kind of cool, but when it really came down to it at the end, every man's for themselves. He'll let a good person fall under the. He was like, it always happens to the good caregivers. He didn't give a damn about them blaming me for some stuff that happened. And then at the place, and even DHS sent the letter of determination apologizing to me for what happened. And then, because I quit my job after that situation happened, an investigation and some other stuff that was going on when I was 19 years old. Or I think I was 19 then, or 20. Yeah, about to be 20. But, that was a little over 10 years ago, but some of that stuff carried over into other jobs that I did. Like, I don't know if they considered that and held it against me at times, but DHS apologized. Now, years later, DHS trying to freaking ruin my life. And Alex is the one, he said it's his fault that the case has been open all this time. That it has been over, I was about to say 6 months. It was supposed to be closed out in 60 days. That was back in April. It started mid-April. Now here we are, September 24th, just now having a meeting. And we were supposed to meet at 10:30 a.m. And he trying to rush and bombard me to come meet him at 4 something in the evening, so he could go ahead and try to get this thing closed out. I have a recording. I'll put parts of the recording up, so it's not overwhelming, like all in one video. So to show like the key points of how he says certain things. But then he tried to, it's like some of the truth started to get to him. He started to realize what I was saying was real, but it's like it's something that he was programmed to not accept that stuff and just believe what he wanted to believe, or believe what he's been told or programmed to believe. All right, y'all, that's it. I apologize. It's taking too long.